What's going on, YouTube? OCD for EDC here, and what I got for your face balls today, we're talking Blade Show. So as most of you know, I went out to Blade Show in Atlanta this year, had an awesome time. It sucks that I was sick for all of it, but I made the most of it, and we Blade showed hard. Myself and Mr. BJ Hill from Hilltop Knives and Gear, he was kind enough to pick me up at the airport, and yeah, it was just a boys' weekend and had a really great time. We closed down the pit every single night, or well, I should say Friday and Saturday night, and you know, we took in the whole experience, that's for sure. So I'm sure, you know, there's tons of other channels posting videos and all kinds of stuff, and you know, the show was really great. It was a little bit bigger than what I kind of expected going in, and I'm not sure how many people attended. Saturday was certainly the busiest day, and there was a lot of people there. That is for sure. But we had a great time. There were a few manufacturers that weren't there, or at least I didn't see. Mainly like Kaiser wasn't there, and Bestech was not there. They did have a booth, but there was nothing in it. So I feel like, you know, there's still some travel issues and whatnot going on. But, you know, all the really big manufacturers were there, and a lot of the big dealers were there. And it all the way around was just a really good time. So in this video here, I'm going to show you the actual items that I came home with. I'm not going to show you everything. I'm just going to show you the big stuff because I got a lot of t-shirts and, you know, swag and things like that. Actually came home, when it comes to t-shirts, I came home with damn near a whole new wardrobe, which is pretty funny, and several hats and things like that. But we're going to get into the actual EDCs that I brought home. And this was one of the smaller purchases, and basically I'd been meaning to pick up a mini recon for a while, so I just picked this up while I was at the show. Jimmy Slash was working the cold steel booth, so it was kind of cool meeting him. And just a little FYI, that man has the largest cranium that I think I've ever seen on a human. Super nice guy. Was really cool to meet him in person. But yeah, that boy's got a large head. There's no doubt about it. So, and I think his wife, at least I think it was his wife. I'm pretty sure it was. She was an absolute sweetheart. And yeah, they were just really phenomenal people. It was awesome to get to meet them. So shout out to Jimmy Slash. If you're not following him, which I'm sure you are, he has a way bigger channel than I do. But if you're not, for some reason, go check out his channel. He does a ton of cold steel stuff. So yeah, it was really cool getting to meet him. But anyway, here is a cold steel Recon 1 Mini in AUS 10A. This is the clip point variant. Pretty straightforward. All right, next up. So I'm just going to kind of go in as a value, we'll say. So the next one, here it is, the Demco AD20, or I think it says somewhere. Oh, I thought it did. Yeah, there you go. AD20.5. So this came with fantastic packaging. Really, really nice box. Giggity. Gotta love a good box. And it came with a wonderful pouch here. It's got this shark lock. This is a patch, a little Velcro patch. And then in the pouch, you got a nice cleaning cloth, says Demco Knives. It also came with the other clip for left-hand carry because it doesn't swap over. So it's got two clips, and here is said knife. So here is the AD20.5. This is the clip point variation. They had the clip point and the shark's foot blade. Personally, the shark's foot blade is the one shown here on this little picture. I like the clip point better. I think it's a lot better looking knife. Yeah, that's just the way I feel about it. But you know, to each their own. The shark lock is pretty cool. It's kind of interesting the way it works. So you can just pull straight back on the shark lock, and if you do that, if you pull it just straight back, it still interacts with the tang on the blade. But if you pull it back and out, so you can see that it pulls back and out that direction, then it's totally off the blade tang. So kind of interesting what's going on in there. So the lock moves in this direction, but then also pivots like this a little bit. So depending on how you pull it out, you'll kind of get a different experience. And then, of course, you've got the thumb stud there, and you can also Spidey flick it. But really cool knife, crazy sharp this thing is. Actually, yeah, we should probably check the edges on all these as well. But, so there you go. So we got a cold steel and the AD20.5. All right, next up, I guess it'd be this one. So, of course, I'm sure you guys have all heard the stories. Microtech always does a blade show, special ultratech, and here it is. I have no idea how many of these they had. The line for them was absolutely crazy. But you can see here it says Blade Show 2021. You know, it's an ultratech, double-edged M390, gorgeous blade, nice stone wash, and you know, ultratech action. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of mandatory at this point. If you go to Blade Show, you got to pick up a Microtech ultratech. So there's the one I picked up. Okay. Next up, let's see. Well, I guess it'd be this one. Now, I picked up some of these. I picked up multiples. Actually, no, it wouldn't be that one. I picked up this Spyderco PM2 in Maxamet. So, actually got a few of these. Like I said, there's a handful of these that I got multiples of. But, yeah, Spyderco PM2 Maxamet, absolutely beautiful knife. And you can't go wrong with the PM2 Maxamet. You guys will probably see these coming up soon. So, there you go. And then, next up, Hogue. It was a real bummer. You know, the Hogue boxes are nowhere near as structured as this Microtech box or the Demco, which kind of sucked because my bag was so freaking packed on the way home, and the boxes kind of got smashed a little bit, which really sucks, but, you know, not the end of any worlds. The contents didn't get damaged at all, so that's all that really matters. But yeah, it was just a bummer. But I ended up coming home with so much stuff, it was unbelievable. But here you go. So this is actually a brand new Hogue model that isn't available yet. Won't be available until next year. But I was able to pick one up. So it comes with this nice sheath here, you know, and you can put this on molly or belt, whatever you want to strap that to. But here is the knife, and it is called the Ballista. You can see right here, Ballista. So CPM S30V, and this is an absolutely phenomenal work knife. You can see one of the things I was most pumped on was the fact that Hogue has redone their pocket clips, which they definitely needed to do. It was one of the few things that I generally like most all the Hogue models, but their clips needed some work. And this one is very cool. You can see the American flag there. And then you've got these louvers that provide grip on the way out, which is fantastic. So it's a short, deep carry pocket clip. It functions beautifully, and I love that they changed up the clip. But this one is an Able Auto, basically just like a Benchmade Axis lock. They call it an Able lock, but very snappy. And this one is in kind of that Desert Warrior, like OD Green G10 with this yeah, I don't know, coyote brown, whatever, flat dark earth, whatever you want to call it. But this is the Hogue Ballista, and it's a pretty good sized knife. I think it's about 3.5 inch blade. Let's check it out real quick, because I honestly don't know what the blade length was. Oh, no, 3.825. So there you go. Getting pretty close to a 4-inch blade here on an auto. Nice knife. Very comfortable in hand. It's just, man, what a good work knife. Really fantastic. Mechanics on it are perfect. It's centered. It's beautiful. Like the black liners, you can see, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's some weight relieving inside there on the liners. And it does have a lock, so you can lock this auto, sliding this forward. And one of the things that I really like about it, sometimes these locks on these style knives can like be flimsy feeling and whatnot. This one is extremely solid. It doesn't rattle around or anything like that. So I was pretty impressed with that. But I really like the knife, and it's really snappy, really cool ballista. So you're going to be seeing these coming from Hogue very soon. You can see there they also have threaded inserts for the pocket clip screws. Very, very nicely done. Of course, pocket clip is reversible for tip up carry. So awesome knife right there. Next one up. Oh, I guess this is the next one. You can see here it comes in this packaging right here. It says, "I used to be sugarcane." So they were telling me that they picked these up, these packaging, which is pretty cool. The way this packaging works, you have to turn this a little bit, and then it slides apart. You can see the teeth there, and those interact with some teeth on the female side, but really cool packaging, just something different. But this is a TRM, Three Rivers Manufacturing. And what we have in here, I got 2 packages of the O-rings for the thumb stud, which was really cool. Marianne gave those to me. Thank you very much. The folks from TRM were just fantastic, super nice, really awesome to chat with. But here it is, guys. This is the TRM Shadow. And in my opinion, this is the best thing they've made to date. It is an Axis style lock. I don't know exactly what TRM is calling it, but this is the G10 variant. They did have a few full tie versions that they had built or that they had made just for the show. And actually, Stasa, shout out to Nick, he was at the show and hung out with Stasa quite a bit. It was a lot of fun. He actually won. Sorry about that. One of the lottery spots to pick up the tie, and I think they only had 4 of them, if I remember correctly. But either way, Nick over at Stasa 23, he picked up one of the full tie variants, which is super cool. But I have just the standard G10. This was actually the first knife that I went and purchased. I was really pumped on this thing. I wanted to get it in hand. And like I said, I know there's a ton of stuff revolving around the Atom and Neutron. A ton of hype, and still to this day, those things are pretty hard to get your hands on. They're fine knives. They're certainly not my favorite, and I just have a few issues with them. But this Shadow, I think, like I said, in my opinion, this is the best thing that they've made to date. So I really love seeing the innovation. Yeah, and this thing did not disappoint. It's really fantastic. And, of course, I'll do a full review on this and get into all the details of it. But, yeah, it's fantastic. I really, really like the TRM Shadow. Okay, Next up, yeah, be this one. Next up, we have another Hogue, and here it is. Comes with the small Hogue pouch, and this was another show exclusive, and this is it right here. This is the Hogue Decca, and you can see obviously this is full carbon fiber scales, and actually, yeah, I was gonna, I'll do that in the review. But they've made some changes to this knife. If you guys remember, a lot of people complained about all the hardware. There was 2 screws here in the center. Not a big deal, but they've changed that up and removed those screws. You can see the threaded inserts there again for the pocket clip. And they have changed up the pocket clip. It is now a beautiful, beautiful deep carry clip. That this should have been on the Decca from day one, but hey, can't blame them for being a little bit late, I suppose. But now it just completes this knife. It's so much better with this clip on. I mean, all of my Deccas, I have a couple of them. I put a Civivi deep carry clip on them because the factory Hogue clip I just wasn't a fan of. I really love the Decca. It's just a fantastic knife, but that clip, the factory one, had to go. So you can see here, Hogue Decca, it's a Leishwitz design, 20 CV, and the axis bar or able bar has got tritium in it, and this one has the orange accent. They had orange and they had yellow or green. Yeah, I think they called it green, but it's actually like looks yellow. You know, to me, the orange looked a little bit better. Honestly, I don't know that it really mattered. It's just a bummer to me because I feel like they should have done blue because they all had blue hardware. And had they have done the blue glow, that would have been a lot cooler to me. But, you know, they could have done orange hardware here as well, which would have been cool. Or yellow. Or, you know, I feel like that should have just matched the hardware. And that would have been a little cooler or complete it. But either way, that's what it is. The show special, Hogue Decca. She's gorgeous. And, yeah, crazy lightweight. And the carbon fiber is just absolutely beautiful. So, really, really cool. All right. And then, lastly, my biggest purchase of the show, and one that honestly blows my mind, which, like I said, I'll be doing a full review on. I never in a million years thought that I would buy this knife. Well, I didn't know that this knife existed, but I didn't think that I would ever buy a knife from this manufacturer. But here it is. MedfordKnife.com right there. I never in a million years thought that I would be purchasing a Medford. But let me show you what I picked up, because in my opinion, by a huge margin, this is the best thing Medford has ever made. Similar to TRM. Yeah, here it is. So this is the Medford M48. And it's absolutely beautiful. So this knife is about 9 inches in overall length. It is so uncharacteristic of Medford, it blows my mind. So what we're looking at here is, I think the blade stock's about 100 thousandths, maybe. Let me see. Certainly, okay. It's just under 1/8 of an inch. But for a Medford, I mean, that's insane, just that alone. But so you got 1/8 inch blade stock, which is totally respectable for, you know, almost 4 inches of blade. These are all hand ground blades. It is a deep hollow grind, and this thing is coming in. I don't want to turn this into a review, but yeah, 12 thousandths, 13 thousandths behind the edge. Somewhere in that 12 range. And I'll get into more detail and measure this thing all up in the review. But so you can see here that this there's 4 stars right here that are laser etched into the blade. And that is indicative of the M48, for those that don't know, and this is the pattern of the tracks. The M48 was a tank that was manufactured just after World War II. It was called the M48 Patton, so this is kind of a throwback to General Patton. And it has General Patton's dog, Willie, on the pocket clip, which is really, really cool. I think that's an English Bull Terrier, if I remember correctly. But in the review, I'll go over all those details. I have to brush up on my General Patton history a little bit. But yeah, the M48, gorgeous knife, riding on bearings. It's got it's a titanium frame lock with an over travel stop. It's got this absolutely epic deep carry pocket clip, which is just amazing. This deep carry clip is so good. And he wrapped it around to this side. Now you can see that this is kind of in the shape of a chevron. So a little little kind of Easter egg deal there for the military, as well as the dog on the clip and the 4 stars on the blade. Really, really cool. The pivot is T30, I think, T30 hardware. And then the rest of the hardware is T8. I think the lock or the over travel stop is T6. But everything else is T8. But the pocket clip is reversible. And I love this. This is such a great design. So the clip lands on this side. But if you reverse it, if you can see down in there, there is a recess for the clip, but it becomes hidden by the clip. So you don't have, an ugly spot where the clip would go. It's just very well thought out, which I can't believe that I'm saying for a Medford. But anyway, you can see that overall the knife, it's about 3/8 of an inch thick. So we got 1/8 inch blade stock and 1/8 inch tie frame lock side and aluminum show scale. And then you've got this tank track pattern milled into the show scale, and the action is riding on bearings. It's just beautiful, guys. It truly is. It blew my mind when I first saw this. Actually, when I first saw this, I picked up the knife and I looked at it, and I think I even commented to BJ. I said something like, is Medford importing or private labeling knives? Because I was shocked that Medford was making something like this. The geometry is perfect. You can see here that there is not a detent ramp, but when you release the lock and the flipper tab comes and hits your thumb, the detent is already on the blade tang, which is amazing. Like I said, this knife is very, very well thought out. If there's one critique that I could give, it's that the blade tang just ever so slightly pokes out past the end of the scale right there. But hey, this thing is so far away from what Medford has done in the past that I'm willing to overlook that tiny little, quote unquote flaw. Because everything else about this knife, that sticking up past the end of the handle, and then the only other thing that I've really found is the fact that the detent hole is open or exposed when the blade is deployed. Short of that, and that's really, really nitpicking, because there's a ton of models that do that. But theoretically, you could get some junk in there, which could hinder the way it operates. But look, guys, I've said it 1,000 times. The lock bar relief cut being internal is just something that I really love seeing, because your pocket clip is always on that lock bar relief cut. And when they're external, it hangs up on your pocket. So there you go. Medford, of all places, did it correctly. And The hollow ground blade, super, super thin and slicey. The way they did this tip is really, really nice. So they carried the full blade stock. There's no distal taper here until the very end. And so this thing is, you know, that 10 to 12 thousandths all the way through, and then it starts to thicken up right out here at the tip, which is perfect. Just absolutely gorgeous the way that they ground the blade, and I think it's a beautiful knife overall. I also, when you purchase the Medford, you get a certificate of creation, like a birth card, if you will, and Mr. Greg Medford was there, so I had him sign the birth card, and yeah, absolutely beautiful. I was really pumped on it. They had several different, they had about 5 of these at the show, or at least that I saw. This was the only one that had a PVD coated lock side. All the rest had just the stonewash tie. And I really liked the way it looked with this dark green show side and then the PVD coated. Yeah, I really liked it. All the other ones, like I said, they had like a maroon one. I think they had a green one with just the tie, the raw tie. And I think there was like a OD green, or no, I'm sorry, a flat dark earth, like a tan color, and maybe a black. But either way, this is the one that I chose, and it's absolutely beautiful. So there you go, guys. That's what I ended up picking up at Blade Show for actual blades. And yeah, I suppose we should check out the factory sharpness. So let me get that. All right, y'all, we're back in. So we're going to go from cheapest to most expensive, and we'll just run through them real quick here and see what these factory edges are like. So hopefully they're all under 200, but we're about to find out. We're not off to a good start. So the Recon 1 and AUS 10A was $230. All right. My phone is blowing up here, guys. Keep getting phone calls. All right, next up. PM2 in Maxamet. Oop. Here we go. Oh, I hate it when it does this. The magnet in this little stand here sometimes starts throwing things off a little bit. Here we go. 180 on the Maxamet PM2. All right, let me get this changed out. Don't have my wife here to do this for me. All right. Okay, next up, the Demco. Now this thing feels extremely sharp, but let's check it out. Here we go. 205. 205. Might have had a spot with a little burr on it. You know, all of these, if I spent a minute or two on the strop, which, by the way, if you're looking for a really good strop, go check out my website, ocdforedc.com. We've got some amazing strops there that are made right here in Iowa by Mr. Stephen Kluver. So go check those out. All right, next up, the Microtech ultratech. Double edge. Here we go. Wow, 260. 260. I can actually see the burr on that thing. So, doesn't surprise me that that one was a little high. But like I said, you know, a few seconds on a strop and that burr will be gone, and I bet, you know, that thing will be very, very sharp. 260 is still, you know, shaving arm hair, but yeah. Okay, next up, the Hogue Ballista. Now, Hogue in the past has always had some nice factory edges, so let's see where we're at with this one. 165. Very, very nice on the S30V. Okay. Next up, we've got the TRM. Okay. This is in 20CV, the TRM Shadow. Here we go. 185. Very nice. So we're doing all right. The ultratech I knew was not going to be fantastic, just like I said, because you can see the burr on there. Haven't really inspected the others for a burr, but okay. Next up, 20 CV from Hogue on the Decca. Here we go. $205. $205 on the Decca. Now we've got the big boy, the hand ground Medford. Now, if I didn't say it earlier, blade steel on the Medford is S35. So, see what we've got going here on the Medford. Here we go. 210. 210 on the Medford. All right. Well, there you go. So, I don't even remember what our winner was. Maybe the Hogue Ballista? I don't remember. I know we had a few that were in the hundreds. Maybe yeah, I don't remember which one was the winner. But anyway, there you go, guys. That's what I picked up from Blade Show. And like I said, I got a few of multiples of a few of these. But that's the lineup. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I will talk to you later.